Hello and welcome back to Italy for the Italian Grand Prix. We're at Fermo and we are live. My name's Paul Malin. The temperature dropping slightly now compared to what it was for Moto number 1. Got a bit of cloud cover coming in over the hillside, but another look at the circuit here, at the spectacular hillside circuit. And the atmosphere here building into a crescendo. The circuit announcers doing their best to get the fans on side to support to support all the crowds here, not just Cairoli, but all the rest of the riders as well. There's the MX2 riders down on the grid. From the left-hand side, it's going to be the KTMs of, well, the Kawasaki there, Tommy Searle, certainly. And then Jake Nichols alongside him. No Joel Roulant, so Joel Roulant's out of this race, I'm told. I was there just a few moments ago in the Kawasaki tent. His bike was still on the stand. Excuse me. And for Tommy Searle, though, it wasn't a crash that forced him out of the race, or indirectly it was. He went and got himself into a collision on the opening lap of that first race, did Tommy Searle. He then, he found himself actually, Tommy Searle, going around Michael Lieb. Lieb then pushed a bunch of riders wide. Tommy got caught up in a melee and contact was made. He went down, his bike got damaged, and it was a split radiator hose. So, of course, water leaking out of the bike during the race, and eventually that bike came to an abrupt halt on the same lap that his teammate Joel Roulant went out as well. But the first race then was a comfortable win in the end for Jeffrey Herlings from Jeremy Van Horn. Michael Lieb, who also has a slight tweak on the knee, a couple laps from the end. So, taking third place in Moto number 1. Michael Lieb, we're not sure if he'll go the distance in Moto number 2. The second race about to get underway here. And Tommy Searle gets a flying start. Jake Nichols gets a little bit contact. Oh, Tommy Searle goes down! Oh, and there's carnage going through the first turn. Tommy Searle right at the bottom of it. Oh, that's ugly. He's up. His peak is up in the air. He's trying to fix his goggles, Tommy Searle, but look at that. Everybody scrabbling for direction 461. Roman Febvre in there as well, but it's Boutron that grabs that whole shot. Van Horbeek's up there. Nichols is up there. Has Herlings got away with it? Herlings hasn't come over the line either. Just looking further down, Herlings also got caught out there. So the two sort of main protagonists are going to have to work extremely hard. We don't know how much Tommy's bike's been damaged in this particular crash, but at the moment, Michael Lieb there in fourth position, hugging that inside line. Well, any pain that he was suffering from that knee just a moment ago, he will be forgetting about that, that's for sure, on this opening lap. So, back with our leaders. And it's Van Horbeek now who leads. Boutron second, Lieb third. Nichols almost into the rear wheel of him. Round the outside. There's Lieb driving down inside, trying to get into second position. Lieb, number 170, does! Ah! And Boutron almost off the side of the bike. And is that Koulas? It's Koulas has gone down. Harit Koulas, who was in 16th position. He finds himself going down, but in a moment the riders will come over the finish line. And Charlier's down as well. Christophe Charlier through that next right-hander. And as we come through, we're still waiting for the riders. Here they come now. Over the finish line. And it's going to be Jeremy Van Horbeek over the Monster finish line right there. Michael Lieb, though, challenging for the lead at the moment. Jake Nichols in third position. Fastest rider on track, Michael Lieb, now going for the pass at the top of the hill. Nichols third. Boutron fourth, Alessandro Lupino on the Ritchie Racing Husqvarna is in fifth. Samuele Bernardini is sixth on a KTM. Seventh is Jordi Tixier, 8 is Rauschnecker, 9 Mel Pocock, 10 is Max Anstey, 11 is Hurlings, 12 Manusco, 13 Valentin Guyot, 14 is Robert Just. Then we've got Philip Bengtsson, Peter Petrov, Samuel Zaney, Davis Ivanovs, Loic Larieux and Nikolai Larsen. They're your top 20. Del Segato is 21st, Kevin Forbes, Ivo Monticelli, and Tommy Searle down in 30th place at the moment, just behind Harry Koulas. That's a replay of the start. Tommy Searle going down. Boutron doing his best to steer himself clear. And that was Charlier getting into the 300 Ivanovs, and 4:22 is that? 9:22, Kevin Forbes. So, there's Van Hoorbeek, there's Lieb. They are our leaders, first and second in the race. Up and over the hill for the second time. It was Lieb who was fastest last time around. There's Boutron, Lupino carrying a camera, as well as Boutron. And it's still Van Hoorbeek. Only 3/10 in it, it's 8 over the line, but look how close. That is Lupino and Tixier. Tixier going past Lupino. Jeffrey Hurlings, though, up into 8th place. Fastest lap of the race, 2:07.2. The guy means business. Still waiting for Tommy Searle to come around, as he's just that little bit further down. That's what it looked like from Lupino's point of view. Tixier getting a better scrub over that Monster Energy finish line tabletop jump. There is the Ritchie Racing Husqvarna. They'll try and do his best to stay behind, or even try and find a way back past Jordi Tixier, the Red Bull KTM rider. So it's Van Hoorbeek, Lieb, Boutron, Nichols, Lupino, Tixier now, then Lupino. Samuele Bernardini, 7, Hurlings is 8. 9th is Mel Pocock, Pascal Rauschnecker is in 10th place. 11th is Anstey, 12th is Petrov, 13 Guyot, 14 Mancuso, Robert Just, Samuel Zaney, Nikolai Larsen, Bengtsson, Ivanovs, Kevin Forbes, and Tommy Searle is still making slow progress. Fastest lap of the race, though, 2:04.7, down in 25th, just behind Dylan Ferrandis. So Ferrandis probably getting caught up in that first turn pilot as well. Michael Lieb, though, continues to harass the 89 of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Won a Grand Prix back in 2009, did Van Hoorbeek on a KTM. Ivo Monticelli's out on the Valenti Suzuki. Maybe another rider who went down at that first turn. But here we are again with our leaders pulling away. 4 seconds clear last time around, and Lieb making a move for the lead here. Absolutely wheel to wheel. He's got the inside line going through turn 2. And coming up through the wave section they go. Lieb challenging. Not going to get through there. Has to turn off a lot of speed. Can't get over the tabletop. That takeoff just a bit rutty, but a mistake from Van Hoorbeek. And Lieb goes through, does it? Side by side. Yamaha versus KTM. And Lieb is our new race leader. So for the first time ever, Michael Lieb on the Monster Energy Yamaha leading an FIM MX2 Motocross Grand Prix. And remember, he was 3rd in Moto number 1. And Steve Dixon will be having kittens up in pit lane. Popped his knee in the closing stages of Moto number 1. Caught a collision with somebody and wasn't sure how long it sustained, but anything, everything disappears, should I say, when You're up front and battling for a podium position. Well, Michael Lee's going for the lead, and there is Herlings at the inside of Lupino. So that's for 6th place. There's Boutron just a little bit further down. Oh, I'm actually now in 3rd position. So Boutron finding a way past Nichols, Tixier 5th, Lupino 6th, Herlings 7th, Bernardini 8th, Pocock 9th, Anstey 10th, Rauschnecker, Petrov, Guillaume is 13th, Mancuso, Zaney, Searle now 18th, but a long way down, 34 seconds off our race leader, and about 25 seconds down on Herlings. But who's that? Boutron just struggling to get over that tabletop. Well, the double over that bottom end of the circuit. Here is Herlings just in front of this rider here, Lupino. Lupino on the Ritchie Racing Husqvarna. Oh, good drive there, good distance up and over the top. Herlings is going to go through on Tixier. Tixier won't know that that's his teammate until he looks back anytime now. Has a double take, and there we go. Herlings easily through in the end. So, where do we go from here? Fastest lap of the race, 2:03.6 for Michael Lee. 2:07 that lap for Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, 2:09 for Boutron, 8 for Nichols, and 2:06 for Herlings, who's down there in 5th place. It's been a hard ride so far for the championship leader. Plenty of time on the clock though, 25.5 minutes plus 2 laps for Jeffrey Herlings, who's currently there in 5th position, to claw his way back up another few positions and maybe even take a double moto victory here at Fermo in Italy, the 3rd round of the FIM MX2 Motocross Grand Prix. Lupino and Tixier though, they're going to go at it. Tixier finding a way through, just a couple of laps to go. Past the Italian on that white Husqvarna, down in 7th position at the moment. Nichols is out. Nichols has stopped in the corner. And what's he doing there? What was he doing down in that corner? He was doing something with his right hand. Electric start on the 250, so maybe he crashed. Or maybe just stalled it, I don't know. But Jake Nichols then going from 4th place. Herlings, Tixier, Lupino all going by him. So something of a gift then for Jeffrey Herlings, because he's now been promoted into that 4th place. Disappointment for Jack Nichols. So we keep an eye on Lupino. Tommy Searle now up in a 14th place. Fastest 2nd sector, so hopefully that bike not too damaged. But how far is Tommy Searle behind Valentin Guerra? Well, he was 2 seconds before. And we're waiting for him to come over the line. The beam already been broken by Michael Lee. 6.9 seconds ahead of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Then we've got Jose Boutron in 3rd. Herlings only 18 seconds off our race leader. 2 seconds a lap quicker. So depending on the state of Michael Lee's knee and his fitness, and how much energy Herlings is going to have to expend in the next few laps, 2nd half of this race, will determine the outcome of this Grand Prix. But we're going down to pit lane, and here's Amy.
In the pit lane with Jean-Jacques Lizzetti. We saw that huge crash on the 1st corner. Joel has now come in. Is everything okay?
Yes, it will be okay in a couple of weeks. Now he he can't see anything, but we hope that his recovery is quick.
Yeah, it was Tommy Searle who went down there. Roulant's not actually out in this race, but the question obviously involving Joel Roulants to Jean-Jacques Lizzetti, just saying that the kid bashed himself about a little bit dizzy after that big crash that he had in Moto number 1. But it was Tommy Searle who got tagged and had his front wheel pulled away from him in that 1st turn. We look at our race leader, Michael Lieb, on the monster in his Yamaha. 6.9 clear of Van Hoorbeek last time around. Was still quicker than Jeffrey Herlings on that lap. Tommy Searle, though, the fastest man on track, 2:02.4, now in 10th place. Jake Nichols has gone down. He's got a hand injury, looking like the way he's putting that glove on. And that'll be disappointment for him. Trying to clench his fist. His dad there, Guy, in the black T-shirt, looking on. So no points for Nichols in this race. Lead goes through 9.6 seconds clear. 3 seconds faster that lap than his teammate, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Hurlings goes through in third place now, though. 18.6 seconds down on lead. Then Boutron is fourth. Tixier 5, Lupino is 6th. There's Hurlings. It's be a tough race for him, as it will be for Tommy Searle as well, down in 10th place still, but just all over the rear wheel of Samuele Bernardini and Mel Pocock. So maybe the next couple of laps, Tommy Searle promoting himself to 8th position. Anstey's just up ahead of him as well in 7th place. Tommy Searle, though, second quicker that lap. Anstey putting in his fastest lap of the race, 2:06.8. So nothing wrong with him in this race on the Garibaldi Honda Ester machine as he closes in on Alex Lupino. Ryder down in the corner, though, the other side of the Invest Straight Bank tabletop jump. Kevin Forbes, that might be on the Kimi Ratek Yamaha 922. That might be, I think, judging by the riding gear that he's wearing. But Jose Boutron coming under attack now in the second half of this race from 911 Tixier. This is the battle for 4th place. Boutron going wide, is allowing himself to be dictated to by Tixier in the next turn, who gets through those deep ruts a little bit quicker. The bike wanting to control, but look at that, turns back on himself. Boutron slams the rear wheel into the front end of the Red Bull KTM of Tixier. How deep the rut is there. Tixier getting hung up on the foot peg there through that deep line he took through the middle there. Lupino looking for a way through as well. Number 77 on that white Husqvarna, the Ritchie Racing machine. Three-way battle for 4th place. So 4th, 5th and 6th, and up the hill they go. Anstey just about 6 seconds behind them. Thought we'd see him maybe pop in a view over the crest there, but not to be. Right, Michael Lee and Van Hoorbeek, that gap has gone out to 14 seconds. Hurlings, though, gone out to 21 seconds, so not a good lap there for Jeffrey Hurlings, a 2:07, quicker than his teammate, but 3 seconds off the pace for Michael Lieb, so looking good for Lieb at the moment. As Tixier goes through, loses a leg and loses his balance on the face of the tabletop, and then gets the position right back as Boutron, number 17 on the Diga Racing KTM, makes a mistake all by himself in that next corner. So Tixier through into 4th place now, doubling his way through that tricky downhill wave section, a long way down from the top end of the circuit. And fast as well through there. Tommy Searle now 8th, 34 off the lead, but 13 seconds off of Hurlings. A couple of seconds a lap quicker. Interesting to see whether, or how far Searle can go. Well, look at that. He was absolutely side by side with Max Anstey as they came over the line. Half a second between those two. Anstey in 7th, Tommy Searle in 8th place. As another mistake from Boutron allows Lupino a way through. And Lupino giving no room for Boutron. So that puts Lupino now into 5th place. So the guys at Husqvarna, Martino Bianchi, the coordinator and PR guy there for all racing activities at Husqvarna, across the board, Supermoto, Motocross and Enduro. There's Tommy Searle moving in as well. Looks like he's found a way past Max Anstey in the background. And this is a tough battle that Tommy Searle has found himself in. Easily over the second step there. He's got Boutron just ahead of him. And what a great performance from the young Brit. Has a quick look over his handlebar to see as he puts in the fastest lap of the race by a considerable margin, 2:01.7 for Tommy Searle. Jose Boutron, who is about to overtake now, 2:10 that lap, 2:07 for Lupino, 2:04 for Tixier, 2:05 for Hurlings, and Lee and Lieb, who has a 17.5-second advantage over Van Hoorbeek and 21 over Jeffrey Hurlings, who's there in third place. So 17 minutes plus 2 to go. Tommy Searle still looking at possibly getting, well, he'll be looking at a third place podium at this rate. Possibly even 4 is the more realistic. But either way, a great performance from Tommy Searle on the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, doubling his way through the waves. A nice line through there. You suspect that that's where he's making a lot of his time. Everyone else going middle or to the right. We're going down to pit lane, though. We've got Amy down there waiting to speak to, I guess, Steve Dixon, because it's a Monster Energy Yamaha interview. That's Tommy Searle. Tommy Searle goes around then up the inside of Boutron. He was fast through there in practice, and he makes it work for him as he goes up the inside of Boutron and now moves into 6th place. Next man in his sights, the white Husqvarna, the Ritchie Racing Machine of Alessandro Lupino. And we're going down to pit lane after all. Here we go.
Joining me now in the pit lane is Steve Dixon of Monster Energy Yamaha. Michael certainly looks as though he's found his feet on the Yamaha this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Michael's done a fantastic job coming over from America as a reserve rider to replace Zach Osborne. And yeah, just he's done fantastic in one day last week and one day's testing with Öhlins, and I've got to thank Monster Energy and Cosworth and Bike It for a brilliant time, and Öhlins for putting the time in. So it's been a really good time. If he wins, that's brilliant. If he stops now, then I don't really like doing interviews because it puts bad luck on him. But fair play to him and the team. Well done.
Yeah, as it stands at the moment, Michael Lieb and Jeffrey Hurlings tying on points for the overall Grand Prix, 45 apiece. So Hurlings finds a way past Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, and now it's closed right up on him. He's 1.5 seconds down on the Belgian. That'll be the Grand Prix to Hurlings. First, so he's got to find a way past his teammate, who you rather suspect probably wouldn't offer too much resistance anyway. But Tommy Searle up into 5th place, already past Lupino. He's 4 seconds down on Tixier, 12 down on Hurlings, and we've got about, just trying to work this out here, 2-minute lap times, probably got about 8 or 9 laps to go. There's Tommy Searle there, just ahead of Lupino, who's our onboard camera, almost getting in the rear wheel there. Tommy Searle was the Italian. Alessandro Lupino through that uphill wave section, taking a lot of energy out of the body as they bounce into the faces of those, especially when they don't double them. But downhill on the charge, Tommy Searle just picking himself up off the ground at turn 1. Trying to salvage the gap that he has between himself and Jeffrey Hurlings. After that first race disappointment where he got into somebody on the first lap, had a crash, didn't realise he damaged the radiator hose, the bike coming to a stop. 101, Samuel Zaney going out. J-Tech Yamaha rider. Where's that on the track? Through turn 2 maybe. No, bottom end. Bottom end of the circuit before the long drive back up through here. Possibly hit a braking bump over the handlebars for Samuel Zaney. But there's Van Hoorbeek. I wonder how much energy he's got left in the tank. There's pit crew, look on. That was Ken de Dyker, I think. There's, I'll just look back up. Getting ready, though, for his next race. So there's Van Hoorbeek, there's Hurlings just in the background. Hurlings will know this is for the overall Grand Prix as well. One pass will clinch it for him. That'll demote Lieb to 2nd overall in the Grand Prix. And Van Hoorbeek using the wider lines. Hurlings taking the short route round, still gets the distance, and he's halved that gap. He's running alongside his teammate, offering no resistance there. Look, backs off the gas. And at the moment, that 2nd place is going to be enough for Hurlings to win the GP. Of course, he's got to stay there, still 13 minutes or so. But Van Hoorbeek fighting back. Kind of. But in the end, Hurlings, 84, now in that 2nd place. Big panic rev there from somebody, and I think Hurlings just got wind of that as well. Had a quick look over his shoulder to see if it was on the big tabletop just to his right. Doesn't get good drive out of there, though. And his teammate going to push him here, I think. What are the lap times for these guys? Tommy Searle 2:05, Hurlings 2:05, so that's pretty much stabilised that. Tommy Searle, though, 2.5 seconds down on Jordi Tixier last time around. Guessing that gap would have come down a little bit on this lap. 10 laps have completed here. We're on lap 11. The first race ran for 20 laps. So it might just be a lap or so shorter than that. But at the moment, Michael Lieb in control. Jeffrey Hurlings coming through in second place, having just passed his teammate. Jeffrey Hurlings as Ivanovs comes in on the Rigo motocross team. It's a little bit pained by whatever it is that's caused him to pull back in. 84 Hurlings, though, 23 seconds down on lead. Tommy Searle still hasn't found a way past, but he has closed the gap to about a second between himself and Jordi Tixier. So at the moment, Red Bull KTM second, third and fourth with Hurlings, Van Hoorbeek and Tixier. Tommy Searle now fourth on the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. And there he is, right on cue. Coming out of turn 4. Pass coming here on Tixier. Tommy Searle going to go a little bit cleaner through here, doubling through this next section. Makes a pass stick, keeps it clean. And that is Van Hoorbeek just ahead of him as well. So Tommy Searle not too far behind. He's only 3 seconds down, 5 seconds down on Jeffrey Hurlings, as a mistake there from Tixier. Tixier takes a long look over his shoulder. The next rider behind him is going to be Lupino, about 5 seconds back. Watch this here, cross-rutted on that point there. A horrible little hook right on the takeoff point. But manages just to keep his feet, keep his bike upright. Tommy Searle still setting fast sector time. So too is Jeffrey Hurlings. Searle with a 47.174. That's the fastest of the race. 41.5, second sector of the race for Hurlings. And here is Tommy Searle now all over the back of the Red Bull KTM of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Up to the outside, hits a bit of a hook himself, loses a leg on takeoff. Drag race to the finish line, easily over the double there. Got no goggles maybe, signifying there to the pit crew. Or maybe even to Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, maybe blaming him for the cause of the crash at turn 1, because he definitely took another look back and made a gesture towards Van Hoorbeek as they went through turn 1. But in the end, though, all to no avail, because Tommy Searle has clawed his way back off the deck from turn 1. And he's now in third place. Hurlings, though, sets the fastest lap, 2:01.0. Tommy Searle, 2:01.1. So those two really going at it, and they've both come through traffic. Hurlings not as far back or held up for as long as Tommy Searle. But Michael Lieb still 18.7 seconds clear at the head of the field at the moment. But lapping 2:05 last time around. So we could be in for a bit of a grandstand finish between Lieb and Hurlings. We're going back down to pit lane, I think. Yeah.
No, it's certainly not disappointing the home fans.
No, it's very good now. It started well, so finally good start. And the first hit start was really bad. I hope that they can keep this speed till the end of the race. 10 minutes to go. He is 6th. I hope he can fight for the 5th place. He is a little bit faster than Tixier now, so hoping for the best.
And Tixier, well, while he might be a little bit quicker, Tixier is about 5-6 seconds down on, Lupino's down by about 5-6 seconds on Tixier. There is Lupino, the Husqvarna Ritchie Racing rider. Full factory engine in that bike. It was the best ever finish in the second moto since they returned back from their absence. They came back 2 years ago, or last year, I should say, did Husqvarna as a factory team in FIM World Championship competition. There's Samuele Bernardini, KTM rider. Putting the chase on Harry Kulas just ahead of him. Bernardini down in 15th place at the moment. So with 7 minutes to go. Ooh, look at that. That gap's coming down all the time. Michael Leib maybe now in some kind of discomfort. Popped his knee in the closing stages. 2 laps to go in moto number 1. He's held on gallantly. He's now only 12 seconds clear of Hurlings, who was 6 seconds quicker that lap as Bernardini gets it all wrong coming over that step up to start the main drag. There's Tommy Searle. How far behind? He is only 6 seconds down on Hurlings. He will know exactly where he is. He's probably in the opposite loop now to Tommy's right. Getting ready to start the approach up the hill. There's Harry Kulas, Jens Getterman, 51. The standing construct Suzuki rider from Belgium. And who's that? Okay, Mancuso, one of the wildcard entries. Second place rider, Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. He knows now that Leib is starting to fade. He's going after the victory. And that'll be a celebration as well. Looks over his shoulder, sees Tommy Searle closing in around 5-6 seconds, something like that. So he can't relax as well, because 5.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go will mean 3 laps on its own, so about 5 laps to go in this race. We are in for a grandstand finish here. Mechanic there, push hard, only -11, and Tommy only just a few seconds back as well. Tommy Searle, look at that gap, 11 seconds between Leib and Hurlings, our race leader. Tommy Searle, we'll wait for him, only 3 seconds now. He's pulled another 2 seconds back. There's Tommy Searle at the bottom of the hill. There's Hurlings. And obviously, if Tommy Searle finds a way past Hurlings here, that will hand the overall victory back to Michael Leib. And there's nothing more that Tommy Searle would like to do that either, because that will also mean a couple points gained by Tommy Searle in the chase for the championship. Already down to what, 23, I think it is, after moto number 1. So Tommy Searle doing all he can to make sure that he can minimize that gap. It might even be further than that, actually. 32 points it was. Tommy Searle not finishing that first race. Trying to get round the back markers. This is probably as good a performance I've seen from Tommy Searle since he's been riding in MX2 World Championship. All in, 4 laps to go. Here's the message when he comes round next time. Not even sure how battered and bruised and beat up Tommy Searle is after that crash, but he was right at the bottom of the pile. And talking from experience, that ain't pretty. You see how hard he's working. That moment there as well. He is pushing, pushing, pushing. The big carrot is the orange KTM of Jeffrey Hurlings. 3 seconds ahead of him, 2.5 seconds ahead of him. Just the other side of this Monster Energy double jump. A couple of back markers between him and Jeffrey Hurlings. So on the gas, good corner speed, second gear. Coming out of there, uphill, onto the plateau. The gap between Michael Leib and Jeffrey Hurlings in the battle for the race. Oh, 6.6 seconds. And Tommy Searle only, he's 3.5 seconds down. So we're responding by about 0.3 of a second was Jeffrey Hurlings, but they've all got their eyes on the big prize. Michael Leib currently leading the race here in Fermo. Well, Michael Leib with just under 3 + 2 to go in the second moto here. Looking at getting on the top, well, on the podium in one way, shape or another, second or third place at least. He currently leads the moto here. Not sure which knee it was, but didn't look too clever coming through that left-hander. Nicely through there, avoiding all the ruts. He will look over his shoulder and see 6.6 seconds back, maybe even gaining, is Jeffrey Hurlings. Is that the spur for Michael Leib to dig deep and just push that little bit harder, turning in 206s, 205s the last few laps. Hurling's 201, so too Tommy Searle. The mathematics will say, there's Hurlings, there's Tommy Searle. The maths will say that Hurlings should take a victory here, even though he's the overall Grand Prix winner, or virtually on the cusp of it anyway. He will want to do it with a victory. There's the lead just there, just coming out of the tabletop. There's Hurlings, that's first, second. Tommy Searle will just be coming into view in the background, or he's lost a little bit of ground there. Tommy Searle, this race isn't over yet. But Hurlings, he doesn't need any invite to close up on the rear wheel of Michael Lieb. Hurlings going after the American Michael Lieb, who has put in a performance. You heard Steve Dixon earlier, team manager for Montreal Yamaha MX2. Said when he arrived, it was off the plane, onto a plane, out to Bulgaria in no time. They rode actually not so far from here on Thursday. Did some Öhlins testing. But Lieb just getting it wrong at the top of the hill. Hurlings on the charge. Michael Lieb has nothing left in the tank. Whether physically, emotionally, or just the pain of the knee, whatever it is, he's thrown everything on the table, and he's taken it until 3 laps to go. Out up front on his own. Dropping down through the waves, doubling there. So too Hurlings. Tommy Searle is in the background as well. And the fastest 2 riders in MX2 at the moment in the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship could find themselves finishing first and second again, and doing it the hard way from off the floor at turn 1. Lieb, offers no resistance, goes to cut back. Will he do the same here? Tries to go around, gets on the gas. He might fight back here. Drag race, he's just going to test the power of the Yamaha against the KTM here. Gets a bit of a kick going up and over the step-up. But putting the squeeze on him, Jeffrey Hurlings, giving him no way to respond around the outside. And then just having to back off there. Quite a tricky part of the circuit. All those long, deep ruts, big holes in there as well. So Jeffrey Hurlings, our new race leader, is taking him, well, just short of the normal length duration as Tommy Searle goes around the outside as well. So 35 minutes it's taken. Look at that Lieb fighting back. Tommy Searle couldn't get over the double. Back marker though, going to hold up Michael Lieb, is he? Not too much that he can't get over the step up. Still going to be good enough for a podium though, I think, for Michael Lieb. Tommy Searle certainly not going to be on the podium, but it just depends which way the podium's going to go. We'll wait for Van Hoorbeek to come over the line. He's still down in 4th place. There's Hurlings at the top of the hill. Here's Lieb now, 170. The 100 of Tommy Searle there in 3rd. Battle for 2nd place as they drop downhill. 2 laps to go. And easily breezing by this time, Tommy Searle on the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Cuts it short on the landing, makes sure he gets to the inside, gets good power up and over the little step. Very steep coming up through here. Hurlings just around there through the wave section. He will think that he's got this locked down, this second moto victory. But as we saw in MX1 race 1, anything can happen, and in the last lap and a half it did in that first MX1 moto. But what a performance. Not just Michael Lieb, who has a comfortable advantage in that 3rd place. He can switch off just a little bit and enjoy that second podium finish of the weekend. 3rd in Moto 1. It's looking like a good solid 3rd in Moto 2. After being out there for so long leading this second race. But Tommy Searle off the floor at turn 1, man. What a great ride. There's Hurlings just ahead of him in that next right-hander. Gap was only 4 seconds between them at the start of the lap. Lap 17. Speaking of which, number 17, there's Boutron. He's down in 7th place. Anstey is 8th, Charlier 9th, Petrov is 10th. Mel Pocock 11th. More points on the board for him, the young British Championship leader. Then Alexander Tonkov, 12th. Dylan Ferrandis, 13th. Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. Then Harry Kulas, Nick Larson, Rauschenecker, Bernardini, Guillot, Laria, and Robert Just. There is Lupino. And the Lupino coming under pressure, is he, from Boutron? I think he is. 2 seconds that gap as they came round last time. Oh, look at that. Hurlings, just to rub salt in the wounds, goes 1:59.7, the fastest lap of the race. As he takes a little on that board, that's 5.1 seconds now between him and Tommy Searle. And that is just going to be too much for Searle to make up. Michael Lieb over the line in third, already losing 4 seconds on that lap. 6 seconds to Tommy Searle, actually. 9 in total to Jeffrey Hurlings. Van Hoorbeek over the line. He's there in 4th place as we are on board with Lupino. Hurlings will be 50 points, 2 wins for him. Lieb will be on 40, Van Hoorbeek will be on 40, and Tixier will just miss out, but by a considerable margin, 30 points for him. Tommy Searle will only pick up 22 points after finishing that first moto down in 9th. There'll be some celebrations tonight over at Red Bull KTM with this victory. As I said before, both riders, him and Tommy Searle on the Kawasaki, doing it the hard way. Joel Roulance, though, the big loser in this race, didn't finish moto number 1. The guy who was laying 3rd in the championship before moto number 1. But dropped down the order. After that DNF in Moto 1 to 4th, he's going to lose more points, 50 to this rider here, after being only 9 points down at the start of the weekend. So just 1.5 corners to go for Hurlings. This one here and the smoother, less obvious turn at the top of the hill. Tommy Searle likewise. And Jeffrey Hurlings celebrates in front of KTM. He takes a 2nd moto win here. It's a 2nd double win of the season. He does it the hard way. He wins in Fermo. Tommy Searle over the line, 3.2 seconds further back. And it'll be interesting to see Tommy Searle and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek after the race, depending on how he saw the incident at turn 1. Hurlings, though, can't wait to get back to the winner's circle and speak to Amy. Here we go. Here's our race winner.
Jeffrey, what a race! Congratulations! That was such a close race there between you and Michael, and then almost you and Tommy. How'd you feel?
Yeah, you know, my wheel was blocked. And your tongue was like, but kept riding. Did an easy pace, so I know the bike was going to stay in one piece, and yeah, I'm really pumped about the riding, so it's cool.
Well done.
So Tommy Searle then won't make it to the winner's circle, obviously not being on the podium this time around. But Jeffrey Hurlings, spectacular ride through the field to go 1-1 and win the Italian Grand Prix. But Michael Lieb as well, what you can say about him, 2 thirds today, 2nd overall in the GP. KTM 1 and 3 though, 1st and 3rd with Hurlings and Van Hoorbeek. 5th for Tixier, 6th for Lupino. Boutron 17, Max Anstey was 8th. Charlier, good recovery for him to finish in 9th ahead of Petr Petrov. I mentioned him a lot this weekend, the young Bulgarian, having a good ride. Petrov, is that his best finish of the year? Yes, it is. So he'll be pleased with that, finally moving in the right direction. Then Pocock, Ferrandis, Tonkov, Kulas, Larson, Rauschenecker, Bernardini over the line just a minute ago, and Guillot. Then Larrier should be next, and he is. And then Robert Just. So overall Grand Prix victory. Going to be Hurlings from Michael Lieb, taking his first ever FIM MX2 Motocross Grand Prix podium with 2 third places this weekend in Fermo. Van Hoorbeek 3rd overall, Tixier and Boutron.
Punteggio ma terzo, poi quarto nella classifica generale del Gran Premio, Tixier, Boutron, Charlier, Ferrandis, Anstey, Searle, nonostante tutto, nono nella generale del GP. Invece per quanto riguarda la classifica generale del mondiale, Jeffrey Herlings rafforza la tabella rossa.
Official classification then, or confirmation. Jeffrey Herlings wins here the second race and the overall Grand Prix, of course. Tommy Searle second, lead third, Van Hoorbeek, Tixier, Lupino, Jose Boutron and Max Anstey top 8. Christophe Charlier, good ride for him in ninth. Equally so for Petr Petrov on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Then it was Mel Pocock, Monster Energy Yamaha, Dylan Ferrandis, Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. Alex Tonkov, Harry Kulas, Nick Larson, Rauschenecker, Bernardini, Valentin Guia, Loic Laria and Robert Jess.
Giulio, sì, forse abbiamo avuto la conferma del problema per Michael Lieb. Evidentemente Lieb è stato portato a cavalcioni, quindi problemi per
This is how the overall Grand Prix looks then. It's the third round of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship from Fermo in Italy. Jeffrey Herlings, 50 points, 2 race wins for him this weekend. Michael Lieb, 2/3, that's 40 points. Van Hoorbeek, 40 points for him. Then Tixier, Boutron, Charlier, Ferrandis and Anstey. Tommy Searle, second in the final moto, didn't score in moto number 1. 9th overall for him. He will be bitterly disappointed, but pleased with his performance coming through the field. After what was a horrendous fall going through that first turn, him and about 15 other guys.
Siamo pronti ormai per attendere l'ok da Matteo e da Marionna che coordinano il tutto dietro le quinte.
In terms of the championship though, Jeffrey Herlings will move to 144 points. 30 clear of his teammate, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. And then Tommy Searle just 5 points further back. Then Roulant's losing out, but he's only 5 ahead of Max Anstey now. Anstey down in 5th position. So Max Anstey, he arrived here in 5th. He stays in 5th place, but he's probably just a little bit closer than he was. No Tellier riding this weekend. He tried to ride yesterday in the qualifying race, managed about a lap, and then that was that. But quite an eventful Grand Prix here this weekend in Fermo. Getting ready for the podium. A little bit cooler than it was earlier. Manufacturers' standings look like this. KTM, with their 50 points today, will add to their tally and distance themselves between them. And second place Kawasaki, 144 to 132. Then Honda just ahead of Yamaha with Suzuki, Husqvarna and TM. But 60 points on the board for Husqvarna. They'll be pleased with that. Right, we're getting ready to go to the podium. And third overall, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek on the factory Red Bull KTM. Didn't look too impressed with third overall this weekend. But Michael Lieb on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Big smile, big limp, big step to the second step as well. The diminutive American, but he won't care. He'll suck that up for what it's worth, and yeah, different colour hat on the podium as well this week. But Jeffrey Herlings wins the overall Grand Prix here. 2 solid performances, one of them a little bit easier than the second. And yeah, as we just said a moment ago, extends his points lead now 30 points clear of the guy to his left, Stefan Everts. The race director at KTM congratulates everybody, of course, on the podium. So too does Liam Everts. Won his first race a few weeks ago as well. Apparently smoked them. Third place trophy, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. He'll take the silverware back to Belgium before heading on a plane to Mexico, which of course is going to be the next round of the World Championship. Don't want to get too close to the edge of the podium, does she? Second overall, Michael Lieb. Giovanni Bracconi, president of the motorcycle club here, Montesato. Got another winner's trophy. Second one of the season, second double win as well. He was victorious, 2 wins in the opening round. 2 wins here. I didn't get his name there, but Jeffrey Hurlings.
dalla provincia di Fermo, il dottor
Another 50 points on the table for him. His championship at round 3 is looking pretty good, but Tommy Searle has shown in this second race that he has the tools to fight for the championship as well. As I've said, only round 3 of 16 this year. But for now, Jeffrey Hurlings still leads the championship. Hasn't strayed too far from that Red Bull KTM since round 1. And he's opened up a good lead now. More than one race he has advantage over the rest of the field. He's a winner this weekend in Italy. He's from the Netherlands. There's the national anthem for the Netherlands.
L'inno di Olanda per Jeffrey Hurlings.
And once again, for the second time this year, KTM winning manufacturer this weekend in Italy. Here's the national anthem for Austria. It's been a tough day at the office for all of the riders here in the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship, third round, the Grand Prix of Italy. But sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit of hard work. Jeffrey Hurlings did just that this weekend. A comfortable ride in Moto number 1, an even tougher one in Moto number 2 ensures 50 points on the board and the overall Grand Prix. And of course, he extends his championship lead to 30 points over his teammate. But Tommy Searle is just there, about 5 points further back. But all that's for now, though, it's all about Jeffrey Hurlings. Michael Lieb, though, second overall, a great day for him.
Naturalmente grazie per la diretta dal podio e già siamo nel giro di ricognizione.
Podium hats go flying. Somebody will collect them. They'll probably try and get them signed a little bit later, but here's how it went down in Moto number 2. Here in Fermo, the gate drop. Tommy Searle got a good jump, and then watch this. Van Hoorbeek, or somebody came clean across him, and he took about 5, 6, maybe 8, 10, 15 guys down. Who knows? I lost count at that point. Tommy Searle was down the deck and having to work hard as he came through the field. So too was Jeffrey Hurlings. Jeffrey Hurlings started to pick riders off, eventually found a way into, second position, past his teammate, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Then before long was up on the rear wheel of Michael Lieb, who had 1 point, an 18-second lead over Jeffrey Hurlings. But he did take a knock to the knee in the first race, did Michael Lieb. Eventually, he had to succumb to the hard-charging Tommy Searle, who then found his way into second with that pass with a couple of laps to go. While Tommy Searle pushed on for second in the race, he wouldn't make the podium. Unlike this guy, 2 wins out of 2, he would win the race and the overall Grand Prix. But a big shout to Michael Lieb, 2/3 for him, and second overall this weekend. Let's go down to the podium, speak to Amy. She's got our winner, Jeffrey Hurlings.
Jeffrey, some serious racing in that last race there. How you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. You know, at the beginning I couldn't really push, I didn't have a front brake and like 5 to 10 spokes were out, so you just had to cruise around. But then I see Tommy coming and I was like, yeah, I gotta push, because definitely you want to clean me out. So I was like, oh, let's step it up a little bit and race more like race pace. And yeah, then I still made it happen. It was not easy. It was pretty dangerous, all the spokes out, no front brake, but I made it happen. So it's 2-1 now.
Well done. Well done.
10 spokes missing from that front wheel, apparently. But Jeffrey Hurling's doing a good job bringing it home in one piece and picking up 50 big points. Just looking for a little bit of damage there on that slow-mo. But you can't take it away from him. Had to fight hard to get there. And it was worth it in the end because, as we said a moment ago, extends his championship lead to 30 points over his teammate. It's a weekend off before we go to Mexico. The next round, round 4 of the championship, new circuit, Guadalajara. What's going to happen there? Well, if it's anything like this weekend, we're going to be in for a bit of a good race. But anyway, second overall, Michael Lieb, 2 third places, 40 points on the board for him. Riding the Monster Energy Yamaha, here he is. He's going to be over the moon.
Michael, only your second race for Monster Energy Yamaha, and you finished on your podium. You must be thrilled.
It's a dream right now. I mean, the last 2 years have been really tough. It's emotional for me, honestly. But I'd just like to thank Steve Dixon, Cosworth, my mechanic Ben, my friend Josh Pitts for coming, all my sponsors at home, of course Monster Energy, the guys at Olin's last week. They brought a lot of confidence to the bike for me, and it's just an unbelievable feeling right now. It's crazy.
So happy for you. Well done.
Big smile. Be a big bonus attached to that as well, I would think, for Michael Lieb. He'll be converting that to dollars as we speak. But what a great day. Mum and Dad at home watching. Hi to you guys if you're watching us on MX Live TV. I know you're not here for the trip, but I know you're behind him all the way. And I'm sure you'll be celebrating one way or another this evening in the way that Michael will be as well. And not sure if his girlfriend's over here either this weekend, but if you are, hey to you. And I'm guessing he's going to be on a plane anytime soon, and he'll be celebrating that with you. But yeah, great day, an emotional one for Michael Lieb. 2 thirds, second overall. Amazing for the amount of time that he didn't have on the bike coming into this race. Third overall, Jeremy Van Horby. Didn't look as happy when he was on the podium. Maybe he's got a smile for Amy when she speaks to him in a moment. He's waiting for the podium, or he's waiting by the podium to speak to him right now. Here he is, here's Jeremy Van Horby.
Jeremy, I spoke with you earlier today and I said, well, you're aiming to get in that top 3. You've just done it. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings because I was second the whole race in the first moto, and 2 laps before the end I made a big crash on my head, and I had so much headache, so it was difficult. But I managed to stay second, but yeah, it get worse and worse between the motos, so I didn't feel so good. And yeah, second moto, the start was awesome. I was leading for a few laps, but I felt so dizzy. And now my head is like almost exploding, so I don't feel good at all, but I'm happy for the team. I want to say thanks for the work they put into the bikes. The bikes were awesome. I want to thank all my sponsors, and just, yeah, cool day.
Thank you, well done.
Running with a bit of a headache then in that final race. But that's it for MX2. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a moment for FIM MX1 Race 2. Don't go away.